Hello, guys, and welcome to the FPL Duo. So we are here I am here for my Game Week 31 deadline stream, which I will be talking through these last hour with you in terms of what my plans are for my team and the final team I'll have locked in before Game Week 31 deadline is over. Before obviously we begin, Huss is unable to obviously join us on this stream, but he will tweet out what his team is on Twitter at some point. So keep a lookout for that if you want to see what his team is looking at. And obviously, before we start, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section if you wish to. But let's get into it. So here we are again, very fast turnaround of football. Literally done the knee-jerk reaction on Sunday, and now we're here on Tuesday for the deadline for the next game week, which will commence this evening for this evening's fixtures. So currently at the moment, you see my team on the screen. You may notice the amount of red flags there are now. Some flags disappeared, some have developed into reds, which were originally yellows, but I'm here to talk through obviously what my plans are and what to do with my team, because there's a few headaches I think to deal with. But in goal, I have gone with Leno. Got not really a choice to play Leno because Areola has been ruled out of that Tottenham home fixture. He's now red flagged and won't be back in time. So I have got Leno against Nottingham Forest away, which we'll see how that goes. I'm not expecting a clean sheet, maybe some save points from him, but nothing significant in terms of that. So let's move on to the back three. I got Doughty, who currently is 50% chance of playing from his knock. So I'm very much in doubt he will start against Arsenal. So it's a wait and see. But for the rest of the defence, I've got Branthwaite and Gabriel, which two fixtures which could potentially be clean sheets there, hopefully. Moving on to the midfield four, so I go with Foden, Salah as my captain, Palmer and Saka as my vice. And up front, we've got the forwards, Haaland, Muniz and Watkins. And same thing again for Watkins. He is now officially being confirmed to be ruled out for that Man City away game. But he might be back for the next fixture Aston Villa do have after Game Week 31. So he could return in the following fixture if all goes well for him in his recovery. But he will miss out on this Man City game. So I think that was expected from his injury. And it was advised that he should have came off in that game beforehand in Game Week 30 so that he didn't obviously cause any more damage to his hamstring. But yeah, for this week, obviously, I think it's a benefit to some FPL owners that Watkins isn't going to start against this fixture and gives the opportunity to change the team around a bit, I think. Now, moving on quickly to the bench, there's nothing really to talk about on there because every single player is injured for this game week. So they're all red flagged and confirmed to not be playing in their fixtures for 31. So Areola, Ake, Bell, and Hwang would not be in Game Week 31 as in terms of starting. So that does leave me currently in this predicament of potentially having 9 players fit for Game Week 31, being Doughty doesn't start, and obviously Watkins being ruled out completely. So it does mean I'd have to make some transfers. It looks like another -4. Unfortunately, I didn't really want to take a back-to-back -4, but because of the injuries, I'm sort of forced into it unless I play a starting 10 and not go with a defender. But the way it's looking at the moment, if I just switch over to my transfer page, I'll show you what my plans are going to be. So as you can see, this is obviously the transfer tab for my team. I have thought, and I think I've gone with the same plan I said in the team selection, and I'm going to take out Watkins. But easy enough to say because he won't be playing against Man City. I'm just going to downgrade him, I think, to a cheap forward that still plays. And I've gone with Semenyo. Plays football alongside Solanke. Gets an odd return here and there, but he's mostly just for bench cover because I'm going to go with a front two and go with midfield five. So there is a formation change in my team, I think, this week for me. So that's my first transfer. So I'm taking Watkins out for Semenyo. My second transfer, which will be for the hit, is taking out Hwang in that midfield because obviously he's flagged and needs to come out of my team. And I'm going to bring Son in, I think, this week. And obviously that puts my formation in a different organized role as to the 3-4-3. It's now a 3-5-2. So I will be playing the midfield five along with the two up front, Muniz and Haaland, and I'll bench Semenyo. This does leave, though, with a predicament in defence because if Doughty doesn't start, it just means I have Braithwaite and Gabriel in my defence. So I will be going through this game week with a starting 10 instead of an 11. And yeah, it might seem a bit surprising, but considering there's not many defensive options to go for this week, I'm not put off by it going with just two defenders at the back if Doughty doesn't play. So I'm going to risk it for this week because I'm not really hot on defenders at the moment, to be honest. There's not many clean sheets coming down many rays. I mean, Arsenal got their clean sheet against Man City, but apart from that, I'm not really looking at any other team that could keep a clean sheet through this busy period. So, and even attacking returns as well is a bit lacking at the current moment. So I'm happy to go with a starting 10 this week, I think, and play the -4. And hopefully with Son in my team as well, because I felt like last game week, even though I did really well with the captaincy on Palmer, who outscored many other captains who were obviously around his mark, like Solanke, Son, and Saka. Or maybe not Saka, but you know what I mean. All these players that were captains scored less than Palmer, and Palmer was the outstanding one with the 30 points. So, but that was still a red arrow because of Son. Not having Son's points affected my rank so much that it did put me down to 40k, and originally I was on 35. So, yeah, I think having him on my team is essential around where I am currently, and yeah, I feel more comfortable now with him being less of a threat of not having his points in my team. So that's my reasonings for taking that -4 to bring him in, I think. So yeah, that's my team plans so far. I don't think that will change for this moment in time. I'm pretty set on that. But let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. So comment from Hamza, he says, which out of these three would you do, Jordan? Foden to Saka, Watkins to Isak, or Douglas Luiz to Rice as a differential? Now, as much as I like differentials, I'm not keen on that one. Douglas Luiz to Rice as an option. So I'm going to look to the other two that you've mentioned. Foden to Saka looks like the most obvious one because Saka is pretty template, but I'll be afraid of his ownership if I didn't own him as well. Plus, he has Luton at home, which is a good fixture for Arsenal, and I think they would want to get those 3 points after drawing to Man City last game. So they are going to push for it. Plus, Saka's on penalties, and hopefully he does take the penalties and not give it to someone else in the team. So, but on the other hand, I do like Watkins to Isak because then you've still got Foden in your team, but you'll be without Saka. I'm just weighing out the options in terms of this and the upside. I think I would do Foden to Saka, Hamza. I think this week going without Isak isn't such a bad idea. I know a lot of people have brought him in from obviously him scoring those 2 goals last game week, and they obviously want to get those points from where they missed out on. for not having Isaac in the team. But I think without Gordon this week alongside Isaac, he might lose some attacking potential for that game against Everton. It's not going to be an easy game. I don't expect it to be a high scoring one either. So, yeah, I think I'd save one more week before I bring Isaac in if you are planning to bring him down the line long term. But I think this week my priority would be to bring take Foden out to bring Saka in, because arguably Foden has Aston Villa. Again, I don't see that being high scoring either. I could be one goal scorer in that, and that's about it. So I'll take my chances and bring Saka in and wait one more week before bringing Isak in. But yeah, in terms of obviously it's fast-paced game week, my plans are pretty straightforward. I don't think I have any. I could make a defender's transfer and have a starting 11, but I'll still be taking a -4. I just don't think a defender transfer is worth it this week for -4. That's the only thing that I've considered. So I'm going with the attacker rather than the defensive option in terms of the -4, and hoping it does provide me with a green arrow this week. But obviously we have to wait and see. Now it is expected. Let me just switch back to the other screen for you guys, and let's talk about captaincy, because it will be interesting how the effective ownership in terms of captaincy will be mostly on Salah, I think, because of his Sheffield United home one. Without a doubt, the best fixture, I think, this game week at Anfield against a team that is struggling and has conceded the most goals in the Premier League. I think that's pretty a no-brainer, I think, for many FPL managers out there. There might be some few that might want to go different and take a risk in the hopes that Salah doesn't go big against Sheffield United at home, but this is Salah, and I think Hustled back on this. Going against Salah is like going against Harden, so I don't think I would be going there. I think I'll be sticking to the trend of Salah captaincy, but there are other good options out there. You got Saka, who's got Lille at home, even Muniz, who's got Nottingham Forest away. I think that's pretty good as a difference and captain. And even Palmer against Man United, you don't know what you're going to expect from that game, but Palmer does turn up for Chelsea, even if they have a bad game, like they did against Burnley. He did save them by drawing to them in that game. So there are a variety of captaincies. It just depends on which one works out. But I reckon all of these will score. It just depends on who will obviously outscore who the most. Another comment from Hanzai says, I got my wildcard, bench boost, and triple captain left. When do you think I should use my wildcard? Well, in terms of chip strategy, it does depend on your team, but at this moment in time, the best time to use wildcard would be, I'd say, pretty much now. I believe Huss has activated his wildcard this week so that he can bring in, obviously, the players he didn't have, like Saka, Haaland, etc., especially Liverpool assets who double in 34. So if you do wildcard this week, they're all set and ready for that double game week in 34 for those teams that do have a double den. So yeah, I'd probably say wildcard now. If not now, then it would probably be later down the line, maybe game week 37, when there's another double to be announced. But I think this game week is probably the best time and probably the most popular time people will use their wildcards if they still have them now. But you still got your triple captain left, so yeah, I think that's still handy to have. FPL Boo Boo, start Johnson or Muniz? It has to be Muniz, I think. I think he's been excellent for Fulham in the past few game weeks, and I'm very happy to have brought him in at the right time before I missed out on a lot of his points. So yeah, I like Johnson as well, if that's the Johnson from Spurs. But I'm more set on Nunez. He is the main man at Fulham. He's like Mitrovic. He's the main forward who will get the goals mostly in games, and he has Nottingham Forest away, and Nottingham Forest do concede goals here and there. I do expect Muniz to be on the score sheet in terms of that game. So, yeah, I'll probably start Muniz. I got a comment from Kevish who says, I've got free hit and bench boost. Do I wildcard for Haaland, Isaac, Saka, Bradley, Aït-Nouri, Sal Watkins, Tony, Madison, and Van Dijk, Gusto? 352, Keller, Udogi, Bradley, Gabriel, Son, Saka, Palmer, Salah, Captain, Foden, Haaland, and Isaac. So you got Kelleher, Doggy, Bradley, Gabriel, Saka, Son, Salah, Foden, Isaac. Again, I think now is probably the best time to wildcard, even if it means replacing one or two players. But if you don't use it now, I'm not sure when you will next use it. Apart from, obviously, there's another double game week yet to be announced in 37 when Man United, etc., will double. Again, I think Newcastle will have a double yet to be announced, but that's unclear when that's going to be. But I think this is the best time to double game with 34. You'll be set and ready for that if you wildcard the players ready in that game week. So in terms of your team, though, you kind of have most of them in there already, apart from Aït-Nouri. As well. So yeah, if it was me, I would wildcard that team as well. Comment from Dawit Dave, who says keep or sell Watkins for Solanke for a hit. Well, potentially Watkins is out for one game week if he is going to be. Let's see what his next fixture is going to be after Man City. Where is it? So after Man City, he does have Brentford. So sorry about that. I was a sneeze. So yeah, he does have Brentford after the Man City game, which he could be possibly back for that. It's not clear if he will be or not, but let's say Watkins misses out on 2 game weeks, so you won't have him for 2 game weeks. I think he is a sell Watkins. I think he can afford to sell him for until he's back, and then maybe bring him back in. For a hit, yes, I think I'll still do it for a hit for Solanke, who has Crystal Palace at home. I think that's a good fixture for him, and he seems to be scoring most game weeks anyway. So that's another fixture where I can see him on the score sheet too. And I think that'll make up for the hit. I think for Solanke, they might not have doubles lined up, Bournemouth, but as a single game week player this week, he could be a decent forward to go for. I think a lot of people don't really have him. I think a lot of people took him out during the period of when we used our free hits and non-free hitters removed him. So yeah, I think Solanke is good for this week. Hit. Dan the Man says, which one would you sacrifice from 32 onwards? Saka, Son, or Haaland will free hit 34? I think it would have to be Son in terms of that to sacrifice. I have sacrificed not going with Son up to this moment in time, and yeah, it was working out, but it seems like because of Son's ownership rising very much more around the ranks, he's become a nuisance to not own. But he is ranked defendant as well. They're all threats, these 3, but I think to sacrifice one of them has to be Son. Saka and Haaland are very, I'd say, hard to replace in your team due to the high ownership. I think they're the highest owned players in FPL, so going without either one of them would be a much more bigger sacrifice than taking out Son, who isn't much of a threat, but he can be for Spurs because he's the main goal scorer. But I would have to sacrifice Son in that respect. Elliot says Madison to Palmer for free. Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty happy with that. I think Palmer, he ticks along really nicely. Even though Chelsea don't play their best in games, he just ticks along really good. And him being on penalties, where most of his goals have come from, is also a nice benefit over Maddison as well. So I think if you already have Son as well in your team, I don't think it's necessary to have Son and Maddison both in there. So yeah, I would sacrifice him for Palmer for free, definitely. Hussein says, would you captain Nunez ahead of Salah when chasing ranks currently at 190k? Yeah, I think if I was chasing rank right now, I would be going for another captaincy other than Salah because he is expected to be highly captained for this week with that Sheffield United home fixture. He's going to be the outstanding captain, in my opinion. So yeah, I would go different if I'm chasing rank. If I was in your position, obviously, Hussein at 190k, I would be looking at a different player to captain and hopefully Nunez to start in that Sheffield United game if you do decide to captain him, because there has been a bit of speculation whether he does or not because of the turnaround for Liverpool's fixtures are quite busy. So, but if I was Klopp, I would be playing my strongest 11 I possibly could now until the end of the season. So, opinions aside, yeah, I would captain Nunez. Down the man says some with 2 doubles though. Yeah, he does have 2 doubles. That's true, but he also has a blank as well. In between that, I'm just checking their fixtures. But yeah, he does. He blanks in 34 when you plan to free hit. No, sorry, you're not plan to free hit. I think that was someone else. Oh no, you will free hit in 34. Yeah. So when you free hit in 34, some will have a blank, so you won't have him for that one. But yeah, they're still to be announced, those doubles. So it's not clear when, obviously, his double will be confirmed. I think that's on. You might need to wait and see with when those doubles are scheduled, because I don't think they've been confirmed or what game week exactly they'll both be in. But I mean, for the time being onwards, until Son at least doubles, I'll be going without him instead of Saka or Haaland. I just think Saka and Haaland for single game fixtures, it's hard to pass. And even though Son may have a double game week, we have seen before single game week players can outscore double game week ones. And yes, sometimes Spurs do have an odd game or two as well, so they're not the most reliable. Let's say, especially in defence. So even though Son is the main man up front for Spurs, but yeah, I'd say probably go without him before those 2 doubles obviously happen, and then bring him in for obviously when they are confirmed in whichever game week. Hamza says, "What's Huss team looking like?" Right, so if he hasn't already, check our Twitter. It's at the top of the overlay and it's in the description below. He should be tweeting out his team when he is able to, but if he hasn't so far, just look back at our team selection video that we did yesterday, and it will show you there what his team will be setting up like, because he is wildcarding. His wildcard is active, and he did show the team yesterday of what he was roughly going for. So I don't think he would have changed it much from then. So if you want to see Huss's team, guys, check the team selection video from yesterday. Jenny Berry says, "Hi, John." Hello, Jenny. I hope you're doing well. Captain Palmer or Salah this week? This is very dependent on if you're chasing rank or not. It does depend on your situation, because at the moment, I'm not really in a position to chase rank this game week because of how much there is at stake for going against Salah, because he could turn massive in this game. So I'm not willing to risk it at my current rank of 40k. But if you are sitting at a rank like Hussein is at 190k at this moment in time, then I probably would be chasing it and going with Captain Palmer instead. So depending where you are, Jenny, and what your gut is going with, if you're, let's say, not happy with your rank and you want to climb up there, I'd say probably Captain Palmer. But if you want to play it safe and get through this game week on a safe green arrow, then I'll probably Captain Salah this week. It does depend on how you feel about the captaincy. But for me, I'll probably Captain Salah this week to go safe. But if I was chasing, I'll probably Captain Palmer just to see if I can get up the ranks a bit more. And Danaman says free hit 34 will cover the blank. Yes, of course, it will cover blank. It will be common, popular pick for that free hit 34 for the blank that a few teams will have. So, yeah, I think after obviously that blank game week, you would want to bring Spurs assets back in. But I think I'd only bring them in when I know when those doubles are going to be confirmed. So it's still late down the line, I think, even though we're 3 weeks away. So I think it's still a wait and see. But in terms of the chip strategy, the free at 34 will be popular for those who still have it. I unfortunately don't have any chips apart from bench boost left. So yeah, I'm gonna have to be in a position to manage these few game weeks. Hopefully, there's not that many injuries yet to come. Munif says, "Hi, Jordan. Sorry I haven't been on streams in a while. How you been?" No, no need to apologise for that, Munif. I'm sure you've been very proactive in your time. But nice to see you on the stream. I've been really good, thanks. Yeah, had a nice Easter weekend. Hopefully, you had a nice rest as well. And are doing okay. And you've taken a -4 this week for Watkins to Muniz and Tavernier to Son. Thoughts? That's pretty similar to what my moves are going to be, in fact, because I do plan on taking Watkins out. Well, not for Muniz. I already have him in my team, as you can see. And I was going to bring in Semenyo as a cheap, obviously cheap value player to afford Son in my team. I think it's a good -4. I mean, if you're in the same position as me, you want to obviously keep your rank where it is and potentially get a green out of it. I think Son is the biggest threat at the moment if you don't own him, because it feels like literally a lot of people do have him in their teams around ranks, and I think having him in your team is a comfort. Whether he blanks or not, I'm just happy to have him in the team. So I think that -4 will pay off for you for this week. Hussein says, "Where is Huss today?" So yeah, he's got commitments in build life, so he obviously won't be. That's why he's not here at this current moment in time. But he should be back for the next stream. So it's only a one-off. Sometimes either one of us might not be available for a stream, but we at least obviously get one of us to actually get the stream done for you guys to obviously view the content. So there will be times where one of us will be available and one won't be, but we do manage it pretty well in that sense. Jenny Bay says, "Hi, Leno. Hi, Leno or Kelleher this week?" I'll probably go with Kelleher. He's got Sheffield United at home, best fixture on paper, and it's at Anfield, and it's really tough for any team really to get much of a result from there. So yeah, I think Kelleher this week instead of Leno. Thomas says start Foden or Meniz. It would be Meniz for me. I think that Aston Villa game, it could be tough. I think for Man City to break down Aston Villa. They've been pretty good. Emery's done a really good job with them in terms of managing them. And even though they've lost Watkins for this week, I still think Aston Villa are pretty strong. They coped really well without him when he did come off in obviously the first half and didn't play the second half of the last game against Wolves. So yeah, I'll probably start Muniz. I do like going different, and even though Foden's really highly owned, I like the risk that comes with it because there's no risk without reward. Dan the man says good points, making me think now. Yeah, I mean, whatever your gut feeling is, that seems to be working with me. Go with my gut more this season than I was last, and it feels like it has gone the right way for me. I have definitely improved from my last rank, where I finished just above 1 million last season. So yeah, whatever happens now, I think from now to the end of the season, I'll have a much better rank than before. But yeah, I say go with your gut as my advice. Dan, what is it telling you? Yusuf says, would you start Madison or Cunha? Interesting one, because Cunha has a nice fixture against Burnley away, and he's actually in my challenge team selection. I have one with Cunha up front. So he should start. He must start, really, because Wolves are hampered with a few injuries. It's a hard decision to make, but yeah, I would go with Cunha. I feel like he's going to score against Burnley. I just have that feeling that he will get something out of that game. Madison, I don't know, not so much. Not confident with that. With that one, yeah, I think start Cunha. I think, but if you can, try and fit Madison in there as well in your team. If he does, maybe get an assist. Mina says my rank is 1.5 million. I need rank. Yeah, so yeah, you'd probably want to be taking some risk. Muda being your team going different rather than going with the template players like a Foden. Muniz is much less, obviously less owned than him. Even though his ownership has risen quite a bit, I still favour him as a good rank gainer. Dan the man says, how long Ake is out for? Yeah, so obviously Ake only played just under half an hour in his last game. In the Arsenal game, actually. So let's have a look, because I haven't really seen it. Well, Pep did say he would be out for longer, which entails that it's not really known how long he's going to be out for. But judging from that, he won't be back anytime soon, in my view. So, yeah, I think Ake is out long term. I don't think it's a short term thing from his injury. So, from what Pep said, longer, emphasizing that word. Just have to wait and see, but I'm not expecting him back anytime soon. I think that makes a good case for Rico Lewis if you're looking for a Man City defender, though, in the absence of Ake now, because he's pretty much nailed on to play with him being out injured. Munev, the team currently is Dubravka, Saliba, Udogi, Gusto, Salah, Saka, Son, Palmer, Foden, Munez, Solanke, Haaland, and Haaland and Brentford available on the bench. Should I try and get Haaland in? If so, who for? So yeah, in terms of your front three, you got Munez and Solanke up front. So if I'm correct, 1, 2, 3. There you got them with 2 out up front. It was here's the thing: if you really want Haaland in this team, I don't think you'll get much out of that Aston Villa game. But if you do want to get him in, try and get him in, then I probably would take out Solanke, but I don't know if I would want to do that after he scored in the last game, in the last game week. But yeah, that is a hard one to go for. But Haaland has a difficult fixture, I think. Aston Villa one's not going to be easy. If I just look at Solanke's fixture, which is against Crystal Palace, I quite like that over Haaland against Aston Villa. I think I would go without Haaland for this week if I didn't have him in my team already, and chance it with Solanke instead of taking him out, because I feel like I'll I'd be pretty annoyed if I took out Solanke and he ends up scoring and Haaland doesn't in Aston Villa game, because it's more likely Solanke will score instead of Haaland. And it doesn't feel like Haaland's got his shooting boots yet. Jenny says, thanks for your thoughts, much appreciated. That's all right, Jenny. Happy to help with your decisions. Yusuf says, I could bench Chris Wood for them and start Cunha and Madison. Hard decision. Wood is on form too, but I think Cunha will score. Yeah, I think I wouldn't bench Chris Wood as well. I think that's a good fixture against Fulham, and in the absence of Awani as well being out, Chris Wood is the main threat in terms of goal scoring for Nottingham Forest at the moment. And he links up pretty well with Gibbs White in the midfield as well. So, yeah, I do agree with you on that one. It is a hard decision. I think I would chance it and start Cunha and play Chris Wood over Madison. I think there's slight upside for that. I think that's what the guy's telling me anyway. A slight upside for benching Madison, playing Cunha and Chris Wood. There's so much reward in that. I think if Cunha and Chris Wood do well this weekend, both of them are actually in my challenge team for a little differential pick. So yeah, Wood is on form. Absolutely agree. And yeah, I think Cunha will score as well. Dan the man says might go Guardiola then. Yeah, if you see a clean sheet for Aston Villa in that game, it's going to be a hard one. Obviously, Watkins, the main goal scorer, isn't there for them. But his replacement, I think, arguably is pretty good as well. But yeah, it will be an interesting game to see whether Aston Villa can hold off Man City. In terms of the title race, that's pretty massive if they can do that. But yeah, it will be a good game to watch. Mina says, last time Villa reduced City to 2 shots, so I'm thinking I'm just to keep him benched. Yeah, that's a reasonable. Obviously, yeah, it's a reasonable explanation for that. Makes sense. Hopefully that does work out. Mark said, "Hi, would you start Gusto over Savani?" I think so, yeah. As long as Gusto is fine to start. I know he's yellow flagged at the moment. I'm just going to look at what the manager said about him. So yeah, obviously it's a hamstring for Gusto. Substitute off. Not really much to say with him whether he'll start or not. I don't think we'll find out either. I would start Gusto over Sabani anyway, though, in case even if Gusto doesn't start, you'll have Sabani there as a replacement. So yeah, I'll just go with him. That Man United game could be really good for Gusto. He does show he's shown nice form, I think, for Chelsea. I think he's second best player to Palmer in that team. Mina says, thoughts on wildcard 33? I'm not sure on a wildcard 33. It's quite different because within double game week 34 was after that. But I think I'd rather use it this game week and have my team set and ready, because obviously that there's a blank. Yeah, there's a blank coming up after that. So, I mean, it is doing team dependent. My thoughts on that, though, I think, yeah, I'll probably have the wildcard for 31. It makes more sense to use it then rather than later down the line in 33, unless you use it much later when it's. I'll say the next option would be game week 37, possibly for a wildcard, but it's very late on to use it. I think I'll use it this game week. In my opinion, it's probably the best chance you have for, depending on what your team strategy is, of course. Mark says, hi, thoughts on my squad: Dubravka, Ariella, Porro, Gabriel, Zabani, Gusto, Taylor, Salason, Saka, Palmer, McAllister, Harness, Solanke, Semenyo. I had to bring Semenyo to fund a Salah move. Yeah, that's quite similar to be. I am going to bring Semenyo in to fund a Son move. to obviously save a bit more money. So yeah, I'm on the same wavelength on you on that one for different player reasons. Thoughts on the squad there? You got the Bravka as your goalkeeper, as Ariado is ruled out. So don't expect a clean sheet from that. But you would say Newcastle is good at home, but their run of injuries may affect their performance against Everton. It could actually lose that game to Everton. I think it would be really tough for them. But you're not really in a position to really play anyone else apart from him because Ariela's ruled out. So yeah, that's the only downside, I think, goalkeeper. In terms of the rest of the team, though, Gabriel, Sabani, and Gusto at the back with Taylor as the, I imagine, the bench option. I think the back three is pretty good. Midfield, McAllister's interesting. It's a very differential pick in terms of Liverpool. I think it's not a bad one for a Sheffield United game because we have seen when teams like that play a high line like Liverpool will, you will see some odd goal scorers. And yeah, I think McAllister could possibly be one of them. So it'll be a good rank gainer too. Yeah, so you're playing a 3-5-2, judging from the players you've selected. But yeah, I like the move. That's a strong midfield. Salah, Son, Saka, Palmer, McAllister. Quite like that. Back three as well. The only argument there is Porro. I'm not really hot on Spurs defenders currently at the moment. I know Porro's got that attacking threat, but he hasn't really shown it much in recent game weeks. So there's not really other defensive options to go for. I think Ait Nouri would be an option to go for instead of Porro for this week. Even though Porro has Luton, I still think I think that clean sheet is white for them. It all depends if maybe Porro can get an assist in that game, but even that I'm doubtful of. But apart from that, your team is pretty well set up, I think, for game week 31. And you will start seeing next week for Luton. Yeah, again, that's a nice differential other than Solanke against a nice fixture too. So I might have the same idea of doing that particular move as well. Play Semenyo instead. And we're still waiting to see. And this is a good question actually. Would you also make FPL challenge content for Minib? If they still have it for next season, because I quite like the idea of it. I think it's a really good concept that they've introduced to the alongside it fantasy football. Yeah, I think next season. I don't know about this season because it's kind of late on in it, and even though it's starting game week 30, I'm not sure we can squeeze it in, but we can definitely make content on it. But yeah, we have to wait and see for that if we do make it in this season or the next. But I do like it. Let us know, guys, how well you've done in that challenge one as well, and what your opinions are on it too, because I think it's a really good idea. And as it says, start Sarabia or Palmer. It would have to be Palmer, I think. Even though Sarabia could be a good differential, I think not starting Palmer could outweigh the opportunity of him scoring against Man United. And the way Man United are playing at the moment, especially that Brentford game they had last time, I think they're very lucky to get away with a draw and not be battered 4 or 5-0 in that game. So in terms of Palmer, he's much more clinical, even when it comes to open play and penalty kicks for Chelsea. So yeah, I'll be going Palmer. I think that outweighs anything else for that fixture. Both teams are struggling in this season. So yeah, I think Palmer for me is the best player in that game. Mina says, I was thinking wildcard 33 just because it will let me prepare for a double in 34 as well, allowing me to punt with 1 or 2 players if I wanted to. Yeah, that kind of what I thought as well, why you would do a wildcard 33. So it sets you up nicely for that double in 34. Again, it just depends on what your team looks like now to what it would be before that double in 34. Is it a lot of players you would change between them then, or would it just be one or two? And can you get away with that on free transfers? It just depends on that, really. But yeah, I understand your reasonings for taking a punt on one or two players, especially with your rank as well. You want to go different. Comment from Lucas says, "Hey mate, for Watkins, do I bring Cunha and play Garnacho / Sabine this week, or Mateta and Muniz and play them this week?" For Watkins, do I bring it? Yeah, I'll probably bring Watkins, take Watkins out for Cunha. I think, yeah, I like a differential. Cunha's the one for Burnley away for me. And in terms of your second part of the question, I'll probably do Mateta and Muniz and play them this week. I'm not too keen on playing Garnacho, either Sabani this week. I don't see a clean sheet for Bournemouth, and I don't see much coming from Man United either, judging from their last game performance. Unconvincing win, unconvincing performance from them still at this moment in time, and literally getting by, literally by the skin of their teeth. So I think there's more upside over Mateta, Muniz, even though Crystal Palace not really score that many goals, but Crystal Palace do have a double lined up later down the line as well. So, and Muniz, I think he's pretty good in terms of his fixture this week, and he has really nice fixtures long term as well. Jeff says, need a 4.6 million defender. I have 8 Nuri, Branthwaite, Gusto, and Doughty. No free at no wildcard, only bench boost left. So yeah, you're in the same position as me. I've got no chips left apart from bench boost. And you need a 4.6 million defender alongside obviously these the selections, because obviously Doughty's a doubt. Gusto is flagged and unsure, so that only leaves you with 8 Nuri and Branthwaite. Let's take a look at 4.6 million defender picks, because again, there ain't many really defensive options to go for this week, I feel like, apart from the obvious ones. I mean, at 4.6, who would I go for? Well, the obvious one is Bradley, Connor Bradley. I think he's 3.8 or 3.7 million. So he's really cheap if you're looking for a defender even more cheaper than 4.6 million for you, Jeff. He has the best fixture this week, Sheffield United at home. He probably will play maybe 1 or 2 game weeks before Trent comes back into the squad, and maybe then afterwards he might not be starting 11 for Liverpool. But for the moment in time, I'll probably go with Bradley. I think he does show attacking threat as well, as much as Trent does, and I quite like that as well. Jennifer says, "Hi, Jordan. Would you start Pedro Porro or Dallo?" I mean, Pedro Porro. as much as that is a hard choice of terms of that really depends on who's going to do worse than the other. And I think Pedro Porro does much better, a little bit much better than Dallo will in his fixture, arguably. So I'll probably start Pedro Porro. Yeah, I like that. Again, that's pretty cool. Edica says, "Afternoon, Jordan. Completely forgot about the deadline. How important do you think it is to go heavy on Liverpool?" I don't think it's that important to go heavy on Liverpool because of the Sheffield United game. Yeah, I expect a big result for them from that game. Obviously, they have scored 9 goals against them beforehand. One of which Salah didn't get anything from that game, apart from, I think, an assist, which was quite impressive. I think that was from last season. But, I mean, you can go heavy on Liverpool, I suppose. This depends on what Klopp decides to play as well. He's got to be dead certain on who's nailed for that Sheffield United game, because there is worries Darwin isn't. Maybe he plays Gakpo, but I'll be able to say I'll play my strongest forward, and that'll be Darwin. But yeah, you could possibly go strong on them. I mean, double game at 34, you'll have them ready for that. Hopefully, there's no injury concerns for obviously Liverpool assets as we've seen before. But yeah, I'll probably go with 2. If I think in terms of importance, I wouldn't go 3. Even though 3 could work out nicely, it just depends on who you think will score in that. I think it's a roll of the dice because it could be anyone in the Liverpool squad. Everyone's capable, I think, in that fixture for Sheffield. Roman Java says, maybe my transfer Watkins is that kind of boring, but I was doing it before Watkins got injured anyway. Yeah, it was looking like he wasn't going to start or play. Obviously, in that game, Watkins, Man City, after he came off, yeah, it just didn't look good at all. He ended the most transferred out player as well, so that gave us sort of a hint as to his situation in obviously the following game week. But that does remind me, guys, I will obviously do my transfer plans now as we're closing into the last few minutes of this deadline stream. So let me just quickly show you what I'm going to do. So let me just restore my team to what it originally was before I make these transfers. So, right, so I'm taking out Watkins for you guys. So yes, Watkins is coming out for Semenyo, the Bournemouth forward. My second transfer, which is for the -4, is taking out Hwang and bringing in Son into my team. So yeah, there you go. I will now make the transfer. So just to obviously show you guys, Hwang and Watkins both out, Son and Semenyo in, and that is for another -4. I will press the confirmation button. So there you go, guys. Some live transfers there for you. And let me just switch over to the other team and refresh. And let's put Son on the starting 11. They don't want him on the bench, that's for sure. And might as well put him there just in case. And yeah, that's obviously save that so you don't have any surprises. There we go, guys. That is my team locked in for Game Week 31. Let me know your thoughts. It is a starting. It's not actually a starting 10. Yeah. Obviously, Doughty is a doubt. So there you go, guys. But let me just read through the rest of the comments. And Jenny May says I meant Paul. Oh yeah, I knew you meant Pedro Porro. It was a good good description of him using the word porridge in his name. I mean, it says if you walk out later down the line, would you be Haaland in or Haaland out? I would be Haaland in. I think going without Haaland, I think would be very, very risky. Unless you're chasing rank, of course, on your wildcard, then I'll probably go without him. But seeing as I'm not really chasing the rank, I'm just keeping it where it is at the moment, hoping that maybe my differentials in my team could push me up to a green arrow, maybe in the top 10k. I think I'll be Haaland in. Comment from Christian says Foden to Salah and Ake to Aït-Nouri -4 or Son to Salah for 3. I don't think I'll be taking out Son, even though I'd want Salah in my team. That's a difficult one. No, I'll do Foden to Salah and Ake to Aït-Nouri for -4. I think in terms of importance this week, Salah is definitely one of them over Son. Salah's going to be the overall captaincy. He's got Sheffield United at home, better fixture than Son that has West Ham away. Even though I see both scoring, I think there's more upside going with Salah as in terms of how it affects your team. I think it would be much worse if Son was, if Salah was not your team. Obviously, you'd want his points, you'd want his captaincy points because going against that is highly risky, I think. So play it safe, Foden to Salah and Ake to Aït-Nouri, I think. And hopefully Aït-Nouri can make up for that -4. due to his low ownership, because captain Salah won't really make much of a difference in terms of rank gains. More of a safety net, I think, for most teams, and everything else around Salah is like a added bonus, I believe, for those who are not really template in your team. Kareem says Munez or Gusto to start. It's got to be Munez. You got to go. For me, it's the attacker, and Munez would be the one that I start over Gusto, because I do expect him to score and get more points than Gusto will. I don't think there'll be a clean sheet for him if he does start against Man United. I think that'll be a very scrappy game indeed, and not likely of a clean sheet. But yeah, Munez is the one for me. C-Man says -8 to bring Salah, Sabani, Munez, or use wildcard. Got the likes of some Saka, Gabriel, Palmer, but no starting goalkeeper. Yeah, use that wildcard, C-Man. I think avoid that -8 if you can, and yeah, just use your wildcard. If you don't have a starting goalkeeper, then yeah, I think you'd want one for this week, and reset your team up, and save yourself bringing that using that -8. I think, because I think this is the best time. But one of the best opportunities you could use your wildcard until the rest of the season. Elika says, props to you, Jordan, for being bold with your transfers. Palmer captain last week was genius. Yeah, thanks, Elika. Yeah, I just went with my gut feeling, and I wanted to go different in terms of captaincies. I know this week I'm not going different. I'm going with like a pretty standard captaincy this week, but there will be weeks where I will go obviously with a different pick that other people may not really choose, and yeah, that's what I want to try and do. I want to try and make it a bit more exciting and interesting rather than just going for like a Salah or a Haaland every week, which just seems so over time just seems so bland and not exciting, because even if they score, you don't really get that buzz feeling from, if like for example when Palmer scored those 2 goals last week, I was absolutely buzzing from his big score from that. Yeah, thanks for that. And Jenny Ray said, have a great everyone. Yeah, hopefully you have a nice, obviously, rest of the week for you guys as well. The deadline is almost up, so hopefully you made your transfers obviously now. Otherwise, you've got 3 minutes or so left, so make sure you get those in. But yeah, just that's obviously on the team on the screen. That's the team I've gone for, guys. Let me know what your opinions are, and it is a starting 10 if Doughty doesn't start. Obviously in this game he's 50% chance of playing, so I don't think he will, but I got Gabriel and Bradford at the back, and if I can get 2 clean sheets out of that defence, then I'll be a happy man, I think. And I think that makes up for obviously the third defender who I haven't got. But in terms of that midfield, I'm pretty happy with it. It's very strong, going heavy, and even up front, Haaland and Munez alongside each other. I think that's a good front two. I know Isaac is a popular pick as well. A lot of people transferred him in from his 2 goals last week against West Ham. But yeah, hopefully he doesn't do the same this week. We have to wait and see. He is without Gordon, so it will be interesting to see if Isaac can keep his run of form up without his right-hand man on the wing. Yeah, it's gone really quick. This deadline stream, it feels like most deadlines. It doesn't feel like an hour. It feels like 10 minutes. Obviously, in terms of the community draft, I think that is laid to rest for the current moment, as we have missed a few weeks from it. But next season, it will be obviously improved, much more concise and professional. So you'll have more involvement, guys, on the community draft rather than us obviously making some of the transfers due to obviously the time frame we have. So definitely stay tuned for next season, where you will see much more involvement for you guys in terms of the community draft. But I think for the rest of this season, we'll lay it to rest and build a better platform on it next time. Mina says hopefully a big green arrow this week. Yeah, hopefully. I want to turn that red into a green and break into that top 10k before the season ends. That is my goal. I think if I make it into the top 10k, then I am going to be happy with that ending to the season. Even though I'm 40k at the moment, it's not such a bad one. It's really hard when you're this high up. I didn't realize how hard it was because I've never really been up there in terms of that rank. But yeah, hopefully we can meet our goals. I'm sure you want to break into the top 1 million, Muneb, as you're 1.5. So yeah, hopefully you get a big arrow green arrow this week and you break into that. But yeah, good luck. So if I have a look, yeah, the deadline is now up, guys. So that pretty much is the end of this deadline stream. Hopefully you've enjoyed my stream. Obviously with just me here, and hopefully you have a nice obviously week in terms of fantasy football. And yeah, hopefully there's green arrows out there for you guys and you're happy with your decision making. I know there's been a few flags and whatnot thrown in the mix, causing a few headaches. And a lot of you are using your chip strategies as well this week too, especially on that wild card being the most popular one. But yeah, I think I will wrap this stream up. But thank you guys for watching. Just before I end this though, make sure you obviously subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, make sure your notifications are turned on for when we next stream so you're notified. And give this video a like. There's not many likes on the video, so definitely press that like button down below and leave a comment if you wish, and we will get back to you as soon as we can on that. But we will be back for the knee-jerk reaction. I'm not sure. I have to obviously discuss with us when we do our knee-jerk reaction, when the best time is. But until then, guys, take care. Let's get this off the screen. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you for that knee-jerk reaction to see how well you've done, and obviously how well we've done in it. So take care, guys. See you soon.